Algorithms sound like a technical thing, but they have powerful implications for how we live. Algorithms are embedded in the infrastructures that we live in, and they're the decision-making bits of code. So as data is gathered about us, it's the algorithms that then decide what is done with those data, or how those data are used, and the way those data fold back into our lives in lots of different ways. So through from financial trading, where algorithmic systems decide what trades to make, what to buy, what to sell, through to the kind of systems that we use in our everyday lives. What music should I listen to on Spotify? What TV show or film should I watch? These are the sorts of things that are decided by algorithmic systems. They make recommendations to us. They recommend the things that we should consume. They make decisions about what's visible. So the two most powerful algorithms in our lives are probably the PageRank algorithm on Google that decides the order of the results for a search term that you might search for. So therefore, that algorithm decides the things that you encounter, the things that you're exposed to, what you know of the world. So the question to ask yourself is, what do I know of the world that wasn't presented to me through PageRank algorithm on Google or a similar search engine? And similarly, you might think about, well, what types of things do I read or watch? What games do I play? Who do I know on social media? And how many of those things are a product of the decision-making of algorithms that decide and make suggestions to you and recommendations to you all the time in these various different ways? The second most powerful algorithm is probably the EdgeRank algorithm on Facebook. And that decides what news you see, what things you encounter in that social media environment. So if you put those things together, you start to see that our lives and what we know of the world are a product of algorithmic systems. Similarly, if you go to something like board decision-making processes, people can be red flagged based upon the decisions algorithms are making with their data about whether or not they're a dangerous individual. So these algorithmic systems are embedded deeply in how we live. Now that's important because the way that we used to understand the social world was that it was a product of the decisions made by human beings. But now we've got a social world where the decisions are made not just by humans, but by machines. And those then have profound outcomes for how we're treated, what we know of the world, and what happens to us and the world that we're a part of. So algorithms and algorithmic decision making is probably the biggest question that we face in understanding the social world today, ranging from things like the insurance premiums we get, the mortgage we get, through to our social media networks and the culture that we consume, and on to the economic and financial trading systems around us. All of those things now are a product not just of humans making decisions, but also what I've called the social power of algorithms.